Can you hear
Okay,
me?
we have, I'm gonna call the roll. You ready to go? Darrell Anderson,
Yes, that's called to me or to call the roll. Thank you so much.
John Sherpers,
Here.
Christopher Smith,
Here.
Jerry LeBeau,
Here.
Dallas Smith, Bahana Swati, Rhonda Connor. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Let's have the invocation. I'll do it. God, we thank you for this meeting on tonight. Thank you for all of those who have attended, who take the time out to handle the business of the city. Continue to enlighten us to make decisions that will be beneficial, not just to some, but to all. It's in Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, I'm pulling up the agenda right now. I know the first thing we have are two minutes that we need to approve from our regular meeting last month and our special meeting that we had with 501 Proctor. We read those minutes. May I have a motion to approve those?
So moved. Second.
Been moved and second that we approve the minutes for last meeting and for our special meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Baptiste, do we have any presentation or communications?
No, sir, we have no presentation, no communication, and no speakers for tonight. We go directly into our reports.
Okay, we'll have our workforce development report.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
We're going to start off with the CDL program. Just to add to what was spoken on last month, we currently have 14 awaiting to start the program. Year to date, 7 have completed. Our total enrollment for 2020 is 17. I will tell you on last month's meeting, I think it was one of the board members, Christopher Smith, they asked about some of the students and if they were employed locally. And I did, I was able to get in touch with out of the 7 that have completed this year, 4 of them are currently employed. 1 is at a local company in Port Arthur. 1 is employed with the City of Port Arthur Fire Department. 1 is also employed at Pineywood Sanitation in Orange, Texas. And 1 is actually at the Southeast Texas Food Bank as a driver, but wants to become employed with the City of Port Arthur. I also made contact with Lisa Jubert with Clean Harbors, just reaching out, possible community partner for us as far as recruitment is concerned. Our CNA program, currently we have 3 students that are waiting to complete the class this week on Thursday, November the 4th. Hopefully 4 graduates, 3 currently working. Update on the scholarship program. I think last time I told you guys that all the students were enrolled for fall semester. I will tell you that since the drop date, fingers crossed, all of them are still enrolled. So that's a good thing. Also talked with Kathleen Fontenot with the Cape building. She called me on last week. And for 2021, we want to start the scholarship and YAP program a little earlier than what we started this year so that we can have a larger pool to choose from as far as candidates are concerned. Our police academy program, we currently, once again, 1 student enrolled. However, I spoke with Deputy Chief Officer Jeremy Houston, and we have 3 candidates that have passed the test, and they have all been accepted into the 2021 Police Academy program. Still awaiting the contract that was sent over, still waiting to prove for that. Also made contact, someone reached out from the Marcy College Port Arthur. Just an FYI, they do have a self-sufficiency grant available for Class B and scaffolding. They did their research and found out that scaffolding is in high demand. Also, our website, just a FYI, I still need pictures from our 2 newest board members. And Mr. Anderson, I need your updated picture whenever you get a chance. Also, I have a monthly digital marketing report. which is just an intel and detail of our website and what's been going on. And I will tell you that all the traffic on our website is up for the month of October for that particular month. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Renata. I just had one thing concerning our work, our youth work program and the scholarship. I know I spoke with Ms. Fontenot as well concerning it, and it's going to be kind of challenging, not just to get employers on your side, but we have a limited amount of kids as well. So we may have to put a little more elbow grease into it this year just to even get any type of applicant for those programs. Just to put that on your mind, it's going to be a challenge this year. Scholarship as well.
That's why, I guess that's why she said, you know, maybe starting earlier, getting with the counselors and just kind of pushing it out virtually to the students that way.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's going to be something.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for Renata? Any other board members have questions? Thank you so much, Renata.
You're welcome.
Programs compliance report.
Good evening, board members. You should have in front of you the project compliance report for the month. I'm just going to highlight on a few of these things that I want to just bring to everyone's attention. On current projects, JZ Russell Industries, I am awaiting their 2019 payroll so that we can finalize those credits and close out their contract. Johnson Controls, they are also ready for contract closeout. We are waiting their 2019 property tax payment as verification, and we can close them out. They are in operation in the business park, so there shouldn't be a problem with that at all. Vessel Repair, which is one of our newest contracts, they've turned in their first payroll report for 2019, and I'm very pleased to report that out of 256 of their total employees, 176 of those are Port Arthur residents. So that's about 70% of their workforce are Port Arthur residents. So we're very excited to get that report. Standard Alloys, they are one of our newest property owners in the business park, and we hope to break ground and start construction with them soon. They have turned in verification of their partial prepayment to Entergy. Entergy is having to upgrade the voltage installation at that property to serve them. And per our incentive agreement, we are reimbursing them for a portion of that. So we have paid out a portion of that reimbursement, and they still have a bit left that will be paying out once we receive verification of that payment. Ramtex, doing business as Destex Industrial, their incentive has been fully paid out as well through reimbursements for the equipment purchased. They are one of our latest contracts as well, so now we will just follow them as far as their requirements to meet Port Arthur payroll, just as same with Standard Alloys and Vessel Repair. INC Entertainment, which is, you all may remember the Walk-Ons project on Jimmy Johnson. That is moving along very well. They're expecting to open their first retail space, which is the Walk-Ons restaurant. They're shooting for December 7th if all goes well. We have reached out to Port Arthur's Independent School District and the Workforce Development Center, as they are very eager to start getting employees, and they would like to reach out to the students at the Culinary Center through the Kate building and get some of those students on board if possible. That is all for the current projects, and just moving on, I'll point out that we did make aesthetic repairs to Suite 321 at 501 Proctor for the newest tenant in that suite there. The council resolutions that passed were ISI kitchen equipment, so that is moving forward as well. And that is all that I have for you tonight. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Crystal?
Well, Crystal, let me ask you, you mentioned about Standard Alloy. You said they were going to start construction. I believe they're well along on construction, aren't they?
I believe they may have broken ground. I don't think that they've actually put any infrastructure in yet, but I could be wrong. Mr. Baptiste,
Oh,
do you
it's,
know if they've
oh
done
yeah,
anything?
I've driven around there. It's
What was the question, John? I could barely hear you guys.
the question was to Crystal about Standard Alloy. I said I've driven out there, and there's a lot of construction. I mean, they've been in construction phase a long time, about a month now or more.
Yeah, they've been building because
There's a lot going on out
the
there.
last time I went out there,
I
they
could
got a lot
barely
of
hear John, but I think the incentive that Crystal is speaking about, there was a second incentive because they had to bring more power.
Oh,
We
okay.
agreed to pay
Yeah.
50% of that.
I see. That was for the that
Yes, sir.
voltage project. Okay, I got you. But the other project for the
Yes, sir.
foundry is big time. It's gone. Okay.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thank
Now
you.
our financial report.
Good evening, Board. We will start with the projections for fiscal year 2021, and we'll actually look over at the actual expenditures and revenue for October of 2020. The projected revenue for fiscal year 2021 is $5,046,214. Of that amount, $4.4 million is projected to come from sales and use tax. $75,000 is projected from interest revenue. $57,651 is projected to come from loan repayments. $144,548 is projected from rental income. $70,715 is projected to come from business park assessment fees. $287,500 from land sales. $10,800 from land lease revenue, and miscellaneous revenue is expected, but the budget was not projected for that line item. The actual revenue as of October 31st, 2020 for fiscal year 2021 is $353,904. Of that amount, $317,790 was received from sales tax revenue, leaving an unrealized revenue of $4,081,210. $13,538 was received from interest income, leaving an unrealized revenue of $61,462. $17,151 was received from loan repayments, leaving an unrealized revenue of $40,500. $4,524 was received from rental income, leaving an unrealized revenue of $140,024. $900 from land lease revenue, leaving an unrealized revenue of $9,900. Total unrealized revenue as of October 31st, 2020 is $4,692,310. The current expenditures are from personnel services, $49,195, supplies, $3,171, maintenance, $1,520, contractual services, $326,135, leaving that total at $380,021. The actual revenue for the month of October is $353,904. The actual expenditures versus what we took in leave us at a deficit for October of $26,117. Our debt service for fiscal year 21 is $866,533, leaving a net change in fund balance of $3,799,660. The fund balance beginning of this year is estimated at this time and unaudited at $4,501,694, which leave us with a fund balance at the end of the year as of October 31st of $8,301,354. That will conclude my report. Are there any questions?
Anyone have any questions for Rachel? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Board.
I think Chairman, I want to commend Rachel for the work she's been doing on this thing. And what she's showing you guys, where it talks about the unaudited, that is what we actually budgeted for the year, where the actual, she's going to show you, it's going to be a cumulative total of what you're spending each month against that particular line item or against that particular revenue or expense. And the unrealized revenue is what you have left to spend. So you're always going to have your budgeted item. You're going to see what you actually spent up to date, and then you're going to see the revenue that you have left to spend. I think that's going to give you guys a better picture of what's going on. A lot of this stuff, especially in the actual, Rachel didn't go over it, but it comes from the data sheet that follows this. That's in the back, right, Rachel?
Correct.
Because she take care of all the expense, and that expense, if you look at it, it's going to end up being $380-something thousand. But that's where that's coming from. I think the only thing, Rachel, from your data sheet that we need to explain to them, especially for this fiscal year, is the contingency fund. You want to kind of tell them what's happening there while we have a negative balance?
Yes. Okay. If you look at the contingency fund on the list of expenditures, you look under the budget for 2021 and the actual through October. One moment, let me get there. Flip my pages over. Okay, so you see there, we're in a negative of $185,432. We have some items that was not budgeted for this fiscal year, well, in last fiscal year, that happened with 549 Proctor Street, and is throwing our contingency budget off into a deficit for the beginning of fiscal year 2021. Hopefully by December, I spoke with the accounting department with Ms. Candy, and hopefully by December, not hopefully, by December, we will be able to figure out exactly the amount of, we are planning on expensing from that contingency account, and we'll be able to do a budget adjustment amendment to bring that line item back in the black. Is there anything else I need to share with them, Mr. Baptiste?
Thank you. Good job.
Thank
All right. Thank you, Rachel, for that report. Now
Thank
we'll
you.
have our Community and Business Center report.
Good evening, board and staff. 549 Proctor Street is moving along better than expected. I think Mr. Baptiste and George will agree that we've seen the construction progress move along a lot faster than we have in previous months. The contractor did up the potential move-in date to the end of April as opposed to the end of May. But of course, we did have a couple of storms that he's saying may delay that by a couple of weeks. If you've driven by the building, you can see that they're getting ready to start putting things back together. So we're all excited about that. Now we're at the point where we're meeting with audio, visual, security, those kinds of vendors, so that we can be sure that our technology infrastructure is in place before the drywall is installed, so that we don't have to retrofit anything. We want everything to be enclosed, everything to be state of the art. So I've been spending a lot of time dealing with that. We're still working on our roadmaps as far as getting small businesses in line, getting them ready, I'm sorry, for our microloan program in conjunction with the Small Business Development Center and a couple of other people like credit repair specialists and things like that. We're hoping to have a dual function with that. So not only can they benefit from our small business program, but maybe our home ownership program as well. Again, with COVID, the numbers have spiked back up. So we have people that are afraid to come into the office right now and speak. So we do a lot of visiting over the phone. Again, by December, we'll have the software for the building for your approval. We're meeting with the furniture people, the audio visual people, the software people, to make sure that everything integrates fully, so that we maximize each dollar that we spend on these programs. And that's all I have for tonight.
All right, Jana. Mr. Baptiste, you had something you wanted to add to that before we ask questions?
Mr. Chairman, I think George attached some photos of the building. I think that was about a week or so ago, George.
Yes, sir.
For y'all view.
Yeah.
It is wide open. And we are beginning to see the making of the Business Communication Center, business, whatever, the press building.
That's awesome. I had one question as it relates to the technology, and I know that there's a lot of technology going into it. Remind me what your pattern at after again? I know you went and looked at some sites.
The one that I like is WeWork, which is the largest in the nation. It's just very secure. Everything's handled through an app, which we would have our own app that Yardi. Yardi is a property management software that's been in business about 30 years. So it's not some fly-by-night software that may be defunct in a couple of years and then we have to start over. Having everything integrate through the app, they will pay their daily membership or their monthly membership. It'll route directly to Rachel. If they want to rent the conference room, they'll book that through the app. Security as far as access and things like that. So I meet again with them on Thursday. Then I let the subject matter experts look at our blueprints, make sure that staff and our members, our students are all safe and secure and see what they recommend that we do so that we can get the best, for our dollar.
All right. Thank you so much. Any other questions for Ms. Jana? All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Baptiste, after all of those reports, do you still have something to say?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those, I just wanted to say, Mr. Baptiste, you really not going to say anything?
I can barely hear you. Say it again, sir.
Are you going to have a report tonight?
I can't hear.
Someone repeat that or shoot it to him in the text.
You got a report, Mr. B?
George, how do I pick you guys up on the phone?
On your phone? Just turn your volume up on the side.
Say again?
Turn your volume up like if you can't hear somebody.
No, my volume up all the way. You're not this computer act, man.
Oh, you're on the computer you're talking about. If you do it on your phone, you gotta go to that same email and then
dial in number where I could just pick it up on the phone.
It's on that email.
Oh boy.
Johnny's email.
Nah.
Let's see. I think it's at the top of the agenda, Mr. Baptiste.
Say again?
It's at the top of the agenda.
Oh yeah, it's on the agenda.
Okay. Let me do that.
And while he's doing that, I just wanted to commend each and every one of you for the reports that you gave on tonight and the time that you put into them to condense them so that we can digest them and just read the paperwork. We really, really, really appreciate the work that you put into that. And we thank you so very much. You're making Mr. Baptiste's job extremely easy. Mr. Baptiste. Oh, he's not ready to move on yet, huh?
Still can't hear us.
Yeah, I'm trying to get on the
participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, just press pound to continue. Please enter the meeting password followed by pound. You are in the meeting now. There are 18 participants in the meeting. This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. What were you saying, Dr. Anderson?
I was saying that you're gonna need to mute your PC now, but I was saying that I was asking were you gonna have a report tonight?
Okay. I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So you want me to read the agenda items?
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to do that. I'm getting ready to switch to my cell phone now, so I can begin that journey. Okay.
Okay. The first item is discussed for possible consideration approving of a lease agreement with Fritz and Shipman Inc. for office space at 501 Proctor Street.
Mr. B, lower your volume on your speakers.
What about that, Chris? Does that work? Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Am I still loud?
I hear you fine.
You're good. Go for it.
Okay. Okay, Fritz and Shipman, Crystal, I think you're the one who dealt with them. You want to tell us about those guys?
Yes, so I believe in your packet tonight, you should have the lease agreement that was prepared for Fitz and Shipment. They are going to be leasing out the suite 323 up on the third. And I believe it's a 2-year lease agreement. I don't have it right in front of me, but we just recommend go ahead and approving that. Y'all did receive their letter of intent at the last board meeting and instructed us to move forward in preparing the lease agreement.
Y'all, are you asking for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I so moved that we approve the lease agreement for Fitz and Shipman, 501 Proctor.
I second it.
All in favor? Okay, the second agenda item is to discuss the possible consideration approving an infrastructure incentive agreement with Real Noodle Bar LLC. That is the Korean restaurant, right? Right, George?
Yes.
Right.
Soul food.
Yes, sir. They have submitted to us the information on their project. The original submission was a total of $526 and $526,140. We went to the city engineer. The city engineer went back and looked at the infrastructure. The infrastructure came out to be $346,750. 40% of that, we are recommending an incentive of $138,700.
The incentive agreement, I apologize, it's not in your packet, but the milestones are, they'll be providing us a letter of intent and it'll follow all of the infrastructure incentive agreement because it's pretty much the same structure for each, but they will be collateralizing it with a letter of intent.
Any questions?
Yeah, where are they located?
They located, John, I think they next to Cheddar's.
Right next to
Saltgrass.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's that one that's already built?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it's built, and there's another pad site there also.
Yeah. I know which one it is. Yeah.
Hey, Floyd. Alberto,
Yes, sir.
if you notice, he said after reviewing the payment items limited, some of this stuff doesn't add up, and that's what he's trying to explain. the bid for the concrete is like $35 and I think it's way under on a lots of this stuff. Can they come back to us later and want more? And it's easy to
No,
get?
sir.
No, they can't.
No, sir.
Because
Mm-mm.
No,
concrete's
sir.
about $150 right now, and he's bidding at 35.
No, they can't. They
$35
cannot come
per
back to
square
you all.
yard.
Okay.
Per
I
square
didn't know
yard.
that.
Jay.
Okay. I didn't know how it was, Kate, but I didn't want them to lowball us and come back in later and hit us for another whole double amount of this.
And they could always apply for another incentive, but this agreement, they cannot change, change the amount. So it's
Okay.
just this.
And one
Well,
other
let me
thing,
say this, Jerry.
yes.
If you look at the bottom one where it says construction bid proposal, it says for the parking lot concrete, they had estimated 252,000.
Right.
So when we submitted it to the city engineer, because the city engineer know the amount of square yardage of concrete they're gonna pour,
Right.
the city engineer said it should only cost them $175,000,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
about $75,000 less than what they proposed. So we go with what the city engineer provided to us.
Okay. Okay. And another thing, I'm seeing the storefront sign evidently EDC does not take care of, but
Yeah, we took that out.
for
Yes, sir, we took
20,000,
that out.
yet they can give them a pole sign for the parking lot for $30,000 more. Is that correct?
Yeah, we could do the pole sign, but we did not do the storefront sign. We did not do the landscape and irrigation, and we did not, we did not approve the permit fee. So all those costs associated with the permit fee, the landscape and irrigation, and also the storefront sign, the sign on the building,
Okay.
we excluded that from this cost.
Okay. Okay. So what's the total they want?
Well, after we went to the city engineer, the total came out to be $346,750. We, our policy say we give 40% of that, which is $138,700.
Well, I guess that's cheap getting out of that for that amount. Okay, I make a motion to go forth.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries. Number 3 is to discuss for possible consideration an extension of an infrastructure economic incentive with PAR Enterprise. I think we have the principal at the meeting with us tonight. The principal came to us in February or March of last year and had some problems because of the virus and the weather and other personal issues. The board did extend the contract an additional 9 months through, I think it ends, Crystal, December?
Yeah,
Or
December.
November or December? When, Crystal?
In December.
In
December 31st. Yes.
December 31st. The client is requesting a second extension. It's up to the pleasure of the board. If you want to hear from the client is here. Ms. Sanders, Ms. Richardson is here.
Yes, that'd be good, Miss Richardson.
Ms. Richardson?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good evening to everyone. I am here to request our extension due to ever-present COVID, a lot of other mitigating factors. So I'm asking that it be extended once again. And I know that it's a privilege to be able to ask for that. Absolutely. We still want to go forward with the pharmacy, with not only a pharmacy, but it's also going to be a clinic that will be able to do testing and preventative measures for the city of Port Arthur, which we think is it's going to be very needed right now. There are some grants that's going to come down from Health and Human Services that we'll be applying for so we can assist our citizens so we can combat things like this and have more resources medically to help the citizens of Port Arthur. The tenants that we have, they're still on board, but they did ask to have a pause, obviously because of COVID. They're small businesses. They didn't want to take the risk of not being able to cash flow their business. So they asked that they have an extension as well for us, through us. And of course, we extended it to them. Any questions from anyone?
The question I would have, Miss Richardson, on behalf of the board and the staff and yourself, the question I have is, you're requesting another extension. You know, this is an infrastructure project. There is a policy that we currently have that whatever the cost of the infrastructure going to be, the board normally award up to 40%. And my thought is that, you know, if you are ready to move forward with this thing, then I would ask the board to go ahead and make a decision. But if not, you know, I hate for you to have to come back again. So my recommendation is for you to firm up your commitment to constructing the building. And when you firm up the commitment, you have to just bring it back to the board and let the board take action at that time. So we won't have to continue renewing this thing, or you won't have to continue requesting renewal. Yeah, you follow me?
Yes,
it just come back when you are ready to make the project a go.
We've already permitted it. Of course, it's on hold as well, but we were anticipating after the holidays, February, early February, once COVID, you know, pretty much dies down, we hope. We're anticipating that will be the case after the winter months, and then everything would go back to whatever the new normal, as we call it, for construction prices and shortages, labor shortages. It'll be resumed.
And I think the board certainly understands that, but again, I think it would be in your best interest that when you are ready and you know, because we don't know what's going to happen with this thing, because it's that you come back to the board and ask the board for what you asked for before, and it will be a new application, but it's the same project. So however you want to do it, what you guys think, man? That was my thoughts.
Well, we have all the paperwork for the legwork. All they'd have to pull it up. It'd be very simple if she comes back and reapplies.
When you're ready, instead of just having to renew this thing, because if they give you 9 months, then it may not happen. Then you're gonna have to come back again, you know. But I think when you're ready to pull the trigger, you come back, and this board's gonna certainly consider your request. Does that make sense to you, man?
Yes, it does. That's fair enough. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, board members, I would ask if we could remove this item from the agenda and let it come back at a later date.
If you need a motion, I'll make that motion.
I second it.
Any other questions?
Good luck.
I have
Ms. Rich.
I have a
All in
question. I have a question. Is there
Yeah.
a board meeting in December? Or do you have is there?
The first Monday of every month. The first Monday of every month. Yes, ma'am. And if you stay in touch with Crystal, she'll keep you going. She'll keep you apprised of what's going on.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Richardson. Is there any other question on this particular item? Well, again, I ask the board, we remove it for further consideration. All in favor? All opposed? Thank y'all very much. Thank you, Ms. Richardson.
Thank you.
Number 4 is to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent from SIP Service Inc. For an economic incentive grant. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, SIP Service LLC came to us. In your package, you guys receive a copy of their letter of intent. I think they purchased some land out on West Port Arthur Road. Is that right, George?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, West
Past the
Port Arthur
business park.
Road. Yeah, and they would like to construct a facility where they would do what are they going to be doing?
Sandblasting.
Sandblasting, painting, and some other stuff over there. This is only a letter of intent. We did look at the NAISC code. It does meet the economic incentive for it meets the guideline 325510. It looked like based on that pre-application, they would create an additional 31 jobs, and I think George, we had calculated about $1.6 million in payroll to Port Arthur residents. Yep. But this is just a letter of intent. We ask you guys to move forward on it. Any questions? Well, I guess we need a motion from you guys or directions from you guys to move forward on this letter of intent.
It's a motion that's needed. May we have a motion?
I so move.
A second?
I second it.
A motion and a second.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Number 5 on the agenda is to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent from Nature's Industrial Service LLC for an economic incentive grant. This is another letter of intent from Mr. Menard Senior. I think I saw Mr. Menard. Mr. Menard, the principal, is here. It's a letter of intent, and if the board don't mind, Mr. Menard, can you tell the board what you're trying to get done?
Well, I'm trying to start up a construction company. I had previously had one for 15 years over in Orange County. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I I sold it 2 years ago, and a lot of my existing clients, which is STI, Turner Industries, Echo, Triple S, and those guys have been asking me to, when I considered coming back into the market, and I've considered it. I've have moved to Port Neches, my residence currently, and plan to be there. And I would like to open up a soft trades construction company doing scaffolding, insulation, fireproofing, refactory work. And, bring it to the Port Arthur sector, because that's with our workforce and the industry, that's close proximity of what we're going to be doing. And it's basically bringing back a business that I had in, 15 years over in Orange County, bringing it to mid-county, Port Arthur, Jefferson County.
Again, Commissioner, Chairman, Commissioners, this is a letter of intent for Mr. Menard. His NAISC code does meet the guidelines based upon his pre-application. He says he's going to create approximately 40 jobs. And we ask you guys to move forward with this particular letter of intent also.
Second.
There was a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
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 All opposed? The motion carries. Number 6 is to discuss for possible consideration a letter of intent from Zero Footstep for lease space at 501 Proctor Street. In your package, there is a letter from Miss Kennedy. I think Miss Kennedy is available here
Yes.
tonight.
Yes.
Miss Kennedy, can if you wish to, can you share your ideas or thoughts with the board?
Hi. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Hi, how are you doing? Thank you for giving me this time. I started a nonprofit organization called Zaria's Footsteps in honor of my daughter. I lost her to suicide 2.5 years ago. Through my organization, I offer therapy within the community. I do scholarships. We feed the homeless. We act with the senior citizens, the veterans, the military, the teachers. Also, it's just not just here. I'm traveling all over Georgia, different parts of Texas. My ultimate goal is to open up a smash room, a rage and release room, where I will give the first responders, teachers, the students, and work with the schools to release themselves and have therapy on session. It's a great tool. We don't have anything like that out here for the kids. I just want to give you some of the stats right now. In as of 2020, the men from the age of 9 to 34 are taking their lives. Women 10 to 26 are taking their lives. And since COVID hit, I have 15 people that are in the hospital, and I have 50 that I'm working with right now. Also, I want to be able to bring, I have a partnership with Living Works. So I will be able to train more people about suicide prevention and awareness, and also team up with Samaritan. I'm also teaming up with the Talk Space, because mental illness and depression and anxiety and bullying, all those things go hand in hand. I've received a couple awards for my work, and I'm very proud of it. But I feel like this is something that we need. It doesn't skip your race, your gender, your creed, status quo. This is just something that we need out here, and I want to be a part of that, and just see where I want to expand, and I want to be the person to answer that call, because no one answered the call for my daughter.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, number 7 on your agenda package is also a letter of intent from Par Fab Companies for lease of space at 501 Proctor also. And the reason why I'm asking you guys to consider both of these at one time is because that is the last space that we have, and the board's gonna have to make a decision as to which one of these. I don't know if Par Fab Company are they available tonight? No. I think in your package, you guys did receive the letter of intent from Ms. Sherry Arnold and Associates. They also want to lease the space, the same space that Miss Kennedy is interested in, and that's why I'm asking you guys to. I want to take both of them at one time. My recommendation, and I'm going to get straight to my recommendation, I spent some time with Miss Kennedy. I certainly appreciate the things she's doing. I think it's a very much needed thing for this community and any other community within our region. But based upon the service that we provide in this building is a more business-like and not a social service-like business. And I certainly will continue to work with Ms. Kennedy, whatever the board chooses to. But my recommendation is to keep this facility as a business facility and allow and try to move forward and move forward with the Par Fab Company. I will certainly work with Ms. Kennedy in finding space, and I have some recommendation for her that is very similar to where we are, but it's just a little different. And the space I'm talking about, Howe Social Service Agency, but it's up to the board. So what I'm asking you guys is, you neither lease the space to Ms. Kennedy and her nonprofit organization, or Par Fab Company, which is they in the construction they in the construction business.
Mr. Baptiste.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Baptiste. First, let me say this. Ms. Kennedy, thank you so much for taking the time to come out and to share your vision with us on this evening for this meeting. The work that you do is priceless. It takes a special person to be able to do what you do. I'm glad that you allowed what you went through to turn into something great for the community. Let me say all of that.
Yes.
And you are appreciated. You are definitely appreciated. I wanted to say that because it's very important to know that what you do is still going to go on. Mr. Baptiste, I believe in this particular instance, is right as far as the dynamics of our building, but again, we'll all decide together. But I've asked him to continue to work with you so that you will be able to find a facility if it should not go through tonight, so that you can still move forward with what you're trying to do on the same scale that you're trying to do it without having to minimize your vision. You know, we definitely support what you are doing. Any other board members have anything that they want to say concerning this before we move forward with it? Anyone else have anything they want to say? All right. Well, at this time, let us entertain a motion. Mr. Baptiste asked us to take both of these items together. You've heard the recommendation of our CEO. May I have a motion?
Okay, if everybody's gonna be shy, I'll make a motion that we go with our CEO's recommendation, and he continued to work with Ms. Kennedy on with her project.
I have a second.
I second it.
All right. It's been moved in second that we continue to work with Ms. Kennedy on finding a space to lease, but to lease the location, to lease the space inside of our location to par. Any other discussion on that? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Again, Ms. Kennedy, thank you so much for your vision and the work that you do in our community. And we'll help you get to the spot where you need to be at.
Okay, and if anyone
Now,
needs help,
Ms. Kennedy, if you contact the office, I think tomorrow we have council meeting. Is that right, Judge, or what? George,
No, next Tuesday. Council is next Tuesday.
Try Wednesday. Wednesday, give me a call and we'll try to work with you, okay?
I will, but I just want to offer my services to any of you all, kids, frontline workers. If anyone needs anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to us because I have therapists on demand at all times. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy.
Y'all stay
Thank you.
safe. Okay. Bye-bye.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, number 8 on your agenda is to discuss for possible consideration entering into a professional service contract with Power Brown Architects of Texas, LLC, of Houston, Texas, with Alan Ferris, Senior Project Architect as principal, for project completion of the build-out of 549 Ford Street at a cost not to exceed $105,000 and a reimbursable expense not to exceed $10,000. I think I'm going to let Kate and Guy deal with this one. Okay, Guy? Kate.
Okay, so as you all know, I think we discussed at the last meeting how Alan Forrest, he's been the architect on the building the whole time, but he recently has changed to a new architectural firm, which is Powers Brown. And at the last meeting, we talked about how we needed the letter just from Architect Alliance assigning the contract over. Well, now what we're doing is we're just going to go ahead and enter into a new contract with Powers Brown for the architectural work related to the white box space. And we also are getting 501 Proctor, as you all know from that joint meeting. They're going to fund up to the construction cost up to $600,000. So his fee is $105,000 for the architectural services for the white box space. It's still Alan, who's been your architect from the beginning, but we just have to execute a new professional service contract since he has moved to a different firm, Power Brown Architect. And it's another AIA contract that we're pretty familiar with. And so we do recommend your approval.
Okay, any questions about that? I know that was a lot.
I'm sorry.
Any questions? All right, may I have a motion?
I make a motion to go with Power Brown of Architect, or switch it over.
All right, may I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and second that we move forward with Power Brown with Allen as our principal architect. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Baptiste?
Yes, number 9 is to discuss for possible consideration entering into a job order contract with SETX Setback Construction Corp. of Beaumont, Texas, utilizing their 20/017M Aura-17 choice partner JOC Texas contract based upon local CCI and their coefficient of 89 for completion of the bill out of 549 4th Street at a guaranteed maximum price of $1,600,000. I'm going to yield that one to Guy Goodson.
Thank you. And Reverend Anderson and members of the board, I won't try to give you too long of a presentation on government procurement, but this one, as you will see in the agenda item, requires a little explanation. We are all very familiar with Nathan Rivers and CTEX. They were the procured contractor for the news building as a part of the procurement requirements under federal law that we were required to meet in order to satisfy the Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration guidelines. That was done. Now, stop there. We now have the white box and kitchen space in the building, which is not, or part of the kitchen facilities, which are not part of the EDA funded improvements to be made in the press building. For that reason, we had to go out and satisfy the purchasing department of the city of Port Arthur's. And even though we are a public nonprofit corporation, they have historically requested that you satisfy your procurement by one or more methods that are compatible with those of the city of Port Arthur. Well, in order to satisfy that, what we are doing is looking at what is referred to as an alternate procurement methodology. Normally, you all do virtually everything on one of two methods. We do a bid process, and we take the lowest and most responsible bid, or we go out for an RFQ and qualify, let's say, professional services. In a contract like this, that would take us several months to do. And this does not really align itself very easily for a quick turnaround on the bid process. So Mr. Baptiste, George, staff have worked with Mr. Rivers and worked with the procurement department at the city in order that we use one of these alternate procurement methods. One of them is called job order contracting. Simply stated, that is where you enter into a master agreement with a contractor who's been pre-qualified, and I'll explain that. And then you go forward and give them work orders. The contract that you see before you will have two attachments to it that will total an aggregate of just about $1.6 million. One of them will be the build out of the white space, which I'm going to say, Floyd, I won't get down to the exact numbers, but it's going to be somewhere north of $1.4 million. We also still have $170,000 in change in a talked about a long time second elevator, but we've never entered a contract for that. So this will give us the opportunity to take this one contract with a not to exceed price for 2 work orders, one for the white box space and one for the elevator, and award it. Now, how this bunch was pre-qualified is really interesting. In Texas, there are several, there are a number of what we call cooperative purchasing programs. Doesn't apply to you people in private enterprise, but our local government code allows entities to go in on a cooperative basis and set up a third-party entity that goes out and basically sits down and sends out RFQs, RFPs for any number of different types of services. One of the big ones in Texas is the Houston Galveston Area Council of Governments, HGAC. Another one is an organization called ByBoard. Here, a group of people that make up part of the Harris County Education District went together and they created this new entity called Choice Partners, which is named in the agenda item. That group went out and does requests for proposals and procurements for literally scores of different type of work. One of which is basically what we would call construction management services. So then companies like CTEX become a member of that organization. By the way, Mr. Baptiste has signed up. So now you all are part of that organization, and you can go in and cherry pick off their webpage different services from entities that are qualified providers. These companies have already been pre-qualified. They have taken CTEX and gone through the same process that you would have gone through to qualify CTEX the very first time you procured them. And then they identify services, and then they set those things up as contracts, and that contract number and that coefficient are all part of the calculated charges that they then turn around, and then CTEX has given Mr. Baptiste, George, and the EDC as of October 1, then supplemented about 3 weeks later, an outline of those charges, which we will get a final version of and attached, and they will be attached to the contract. What it effectively does is allow you to procure your same contractor that's already working on the press building, number one. Number two, it satisfies the procurement requirements that have been overlaid by the city of Port Arthur. And third, and as importantly, it's at a price that Mr. Baptiste will negotiate, and you can get it done forth in a much faster time frame than if we had to stop the whole process of Mr. Rivers and CTEX working on their portion of the project and completely have them remobilize if they were the successful bidder on a subsequent award of a contract. So we look at it as expediting what has already happened, which is a fruitful business relationship between the EDC and CTEX. So it is our recommendation for approval with the understanding that CTEX has to look at this contract. Your architect, Alan, has looked at the contract. He will be continuing his role overseeing the contracts, the subcontractors, the pay requests, and approving those. So his role as far as that relationship with CTEX will not change now that you've engaged him and if you go forward with this contract. Just moves all the players to another part of the building to continue the work, and we do think it will save a lot of time doing this methodology.
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
Floyd,
That was
is there anything
awesome.
else you want to add? Mr. Baptiste, anything you wanted to add? I think, Floyd, you're muted, but is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I think you said it well, Guy. I think we save a lot of time, and I think in the long run with this process, as Guy said, you know, we're saving time, and I think we're going to save money because now those white box, you know, they could work while they're doing one portion of it. When they have the plumbers in there, they got the plumbers in there for both the phase 1 and phase 2. They won't have to demobilize and mobilize. When they have the electricity, there's the same. I think we're going to save some money this way. And the other deal was, like Guy said, we wanted to follow the city guidelines. It would be difficult for us to have another contractor working in the same building with this contract. So we have the same people, they understand the project, they know the project, and they certainly understand the results that we're looking for. I appreciate all the help you have given me on this one, man.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm just happy that we have such intelligent people around us to help us to get through all of the things that we're trying to do. Anyone had any questions about that particular line item? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the contract with these with CTEX.
I second it.
All right, it's been moved and second that we move forward with the process that was so eloquently explained to us on tonight to continue with the same contractor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Baptiste.
Number 10 is to ratify PAEDC board approval of a renewal of the CEO contract agreement for fiscal year 2021 with a salary increase of 3.25%. I know you guys, some time ago, a couple of months ago, you guys went in executive session and you guys made had made some decision on a pay raise for me by 3.25%. Well, there was never a motion made when you came out. And I need, in our business, we got to pay for everything. So I'm asking you guys to approve what you guys agreed to so that we could send this in the form of an ordinance to the city council so that I could get my 3.25%.
You gonna get back pay on this?
Sir?
You gonna get back pay on this?
It's gonna be retroactive to October 1.
Yeah, I make a motion.
I'll second.
Anyone have any other comments about a discussion?
Well, do we get a raise too?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Was that our last agenda item?
That's your last agenda item.
That's
All
it.
right. You have anything else you need to say, Mr. Baptiste?
The only other thing I don't have the date to be exact, but I think it's January the 3rd, January the 10th. Guy, you may, they're gonna have the breakfast at the economic development breakfast with
Ready.
Terry, what's his name, the economist, and the 3 county judges from the various from Jefferson, Orange, and Hardin County. It's going to be at some location in Beaumont. If you guys would like to be in attendance,
the speaker's Ray Perryman, who is an outstanding economist and is extremely knowledgeable about not only Texas, but he is really wired in through those governmental officials and industry with the comings and goings in our area. And so I always find it very instructive the time that I get to sit and listen to it.
How do we sign up?
And I think that is January the 10th. I'm not sure, but I could check my calendar and I'll send you guys a notice. But if you guys would like to be in attendance, I certainly would appreciate you guys partaking in this thing. I think it would be, you get to know what's going on. In fact, George and I went to lunch today. George, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah, George and I went to lunch today, and we, while we was out there, we met up with one of the consultants, and he talked about $60 billion worth of work here, $60 billion worth of work in Corpus Christi, $40 billion worth of work in Louisiana, and Mr. Perry going to tell you, Dr. Perry going to talk about all the economy that's coming to this Southeast Texas. So I think it would be something very interesting for you guys to hear if y'all want to know about the economy of Southeast Texas.
Great.
Just give Joni a call and let her know, and I'll make the arrangement.
Floyd,
That's all I have.
I got a quick question for you, Floyd.
Yes, sir.
How's that project going with Lamar, that training center over there at the Armory? Is that still on track?
Yes, sir. They have picked a contract, an architect and a contractor. The process is, when you're dealing with the feds, you're dealing with the feds. You got to cross every I, got to do all the environmental, everything got to meet their specs.
Yep.
So the process it is still going.
It's still a go. Yeah.
Yes, sir. In fact, I received the 2002 report from Lamar today, and that's one of the big things that's in their book. They highlighted the Armory building. They also highlighted the culinary art degree, and they talk about our building, about the new program that's coming up. But yes, sir, that the training center is on the way.
Oh, I like your
about
report. I like the report that you gave in the Port Arthur News too. That was a good write-up about what's going on.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, y'all. I apologize for getting on late, but I'm so glad that we're getting off at a good time on tonight. I entertain that motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you,
y'all
Mr.
so much.
Good evening, everyone.
Hopefully we'll be able to get back together next month.
Bye.
All right.
All right.